RWBY Chibi Season 2, Episode 11, Movie Night. Definitely a good episode. I feel like the last couple of episodes, pretty much the last month worth of episodes, have actually been really, really good. They have, their formula that they're keeping where it's, 3 skits, the one in the middle being the smallest one. This episode, much like the last one, actually ties the beginning skit and the ending skit together is the exact same thing. They've kind of done that before, like with the Classroom. It's similar with the heroes and the villains, but this was, just like the last episode, it was actually just a continuation of the same skit, just with a break in the middle. But really enjoyed what they did, poking fun at like different genres and even making callbacks. There are quite a few callbacks in this episode to either Rooster Teeth in general, where they have, those are more references to callbacks, and they have it with the movie posters. They have like Camp was Chibi Chibi, and I'm not familiar with what the other one was, but I know it was like Murchi Chibi or something like that. I don't even remember exactly what the name was. But they had a lot of sort of in references to RWBY, the main series, as well as RWBY Chibi, because the third poster was like, "That's my uncle," so that was a reference to just, RWBY as a whole. And then they had, during Sun and Neptune's thing, when he like flips the board, it's the, they use it all the time, but it's like the cow and the farmer, on the farm, and so that's the board they used. And then there was another reference, and I can't think of what it is now, but there's some other reference that they had in there to like another thing that they do within like RWBY Chibi. But it was a really good episode. I was looking forward to this because when I saw the thumbnail, it was Sun and Neptune, and Junior Detectives is like my favorite thing of all of RWBY Chibi. So it wasn't exactly that, but it was basically that. It just wasn't as much dialogue between the two of them, but it was definitely funny. I loved everything they did with all the different movies, and we get to see Pyrrha, which I thought was awesome. So she, of course, starts off, kind of hinting at some, things with romance, and I love the way they did it because there are so many things that are funny about it. But, of course, she's just smelling a flower, and then a Grimm comes up, and John comes in to save her, but he's riding Zwei, which would either make Zwei super huge or make him, like, super tiny. So that looked really funny, and the fact that he was falling as he was talking, because I thought it was going to be like he'd actually save her, but even in like the fantasy version, he crashed into the Grimm before getting up, because I was like, oh, it's funny how fast he seems to be falling, but I'm sure he'll say everything he needs to say and then do the save. I was like, no, he actually hit it and, got up, so I like that. Like I said, the Junior Detective thing I thought was really awesome. They poke fun. Once again, we get to see Velvet, so that was awesome, but they really mess over, they really screw her over, because like she comes in doing like the musical thing, and Sun just cuts her off like, no, we're not, going to see a musical. And then we go to our second skit, which of course is, our villains. So we get to see Neo, and we get to see Roman again. And I love the way they did that, especially the way they ended it, where, of course, Neo's going through the costume, so she starts off as Weiss, goes to RWBY, and then she switches to dressing like Roman, and then he pulls out a sign that says, "Yeah, it looks better on you." So I thought that was actually really awesome the way they did that one. And of course, going back to the movie thing, I loved RWBY's. Like, it was just really funny seeing them do like, raining Zwei, and it was making those squeaky sound effects. So I really loved hers. I think hers may have been my favorite just because I was laughing so much just from the squeaky noises, and that was really it, and it was just funny to me. But I love what they did with all of those. Oh, the other callback was Jean's thing. It was, the superhero stuff, and it was him in the costume with Zwei again. That was the other sort of RWBY Chibi callback. So I love what they did with those for sure, and I would kind of like to see them do that again. They were kind of just, making fun of the genres, but I would love to almost see them do a whole episode, like, picking a genre and, like, making fun of it. Especially, I think, personally speaking, I would love to see them do, like, the superhero thing, because when Jean did that, it was one of my favorites. Like, him just, like, when he hit Mercury, it was like, I think it was like Hammer of Silence, and he just hit him out of, off screen. It just really caught me off guard. The stuff he was doing was really funny. So I would love to see them actually do that as like a legitimate skit where the characters are actually like in this situation as a movie, or maybe, the joke would be that they're actually making that movie or something. But I really enjoyed that. I thought it was really cool, and like I said, I like the idea of them doing basically 2 skits, where it's like, one really long skit and then it's kind of broken up in the middle. And, it's kind of what they've done this whole season, except, the skits have been, 3 separate skits, but they've had some really good ones lately. And this episode, going along with the last one with Ty trying to be like, the cool dad, I thought it was cool the way that they kind of tied things together. It's like, here's the beginning, and then we do, kind of our middle joke, and then it actually goes back to the same joke in the beginning, because they actually have some really good stuff with it. So I actually appreciate having like these longer skits, and I honestly, I think even from the first season, some of the longer skits are actually my favorite ones. So I think it's definitely working out. Once again, I don't know if this is going to be like their new style where they have basically 2 skits, and then, you know, 1 skit is split as the beginning and end with a small one in the middle, or if we're going to end up going back to it's kind of the 3 skit format. Of course, I'm like 1 week behind, so I don't know what the current episode looks like just yet. But I really enjoyed this one. Of course, would love to know what you guys thought about it, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts about it, your least favorite parts about it, and definitely with what they did in this episode as far as kind of making fun of the different genres. And that's, you know, it's the chibi version, so they make fun of everything anyway. Like, there's always some small references, some little thing. But I would love to know, like for me, I said I would love to see them do like a full, maybe not a full episode, but at least 1 full skit where they're doing like the superhero thing, kind of like what they already did with Jean. But I would love to see them do that with some other characters, or maybe he teams up with another character. It's not just, you know, him and Zwei. But I would love to see them do the superhero thing again. Also, in that one, they make a reference to the fact that every time you see a Batman movie, they talk about his origin. So I thought that was really cool. But I would love to know what genre you guys would really like to see. I know if they did a musical thing, that I think would go beyond the time frame. I mean, you'd have to really shorten it. That would be weird to do like one, like maybe only 2 or 3 minutes of a musical. You know, it might actually be harder to do smaller songs than longer songs. But, you know, that would I would love to see that. I'd love to see all of it. But for me, if I had to pick one right off the top, I would definitely love to see them do another skit in the sort of, you know, making fun of the superhero genre. But would love to know what, you know, film genre or genre in general you guys would love to see them kind of make fun of in the chibi version of the series. And like I said, I want to know what you guys thought about this episode in general. So please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.